Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's been a while since I've done a video, but the weather has been terrible. The wind's kicked up again, which is a shame, because Jack and Emma are going to Greece today, so I could have done a lot of diving, but hey, that's life. So this video, I'm going to kick it back basic to how I started spearfishing, to what I use when I'm doing spearfishing, and to the courses I did to get myself into spearfishing. It seems like you need a lot of kit, you need a lot of knowledge, but you don't. This video, I'm just going to kick it back to basics, make it pretty simple, and just show you how I did it and what I use. And I probably just made a shit mess there. But first off is your fins. Nice flexy, nice and long, makes your swimming more efficient. This brand is Leader fins. 200 quid for the set. Pretty much all they are. Medium stiffness. I probably could have got away with soft, but unfortunately on the website you type your weight in and they tell you what you should have, and it's not right. Don't get the plastic fins. You'll see them on Amazon. I made the mistake of buying them. They're 50 quid. They're 50 quid for a reason. They gave me fucking shin splints. That was the worst dive ever. I dived once in them and then I got rid of them. Literally tie 2 bits of wood to your feet, go for a swim, and that's what it feels like. They do not flex like these. You want that movement. Hence why fish do the movement. They are just like that. Woof, woof. So all the strain is in your ankles, your shins and your knees. These got a nice little flat. Softer, flip a bit more. These are fiberglass. You can get carbon, and I think you can get fiberglass mixed carbon now. Carbon's slightly more expensive, but someone said that fiberglass lasts a bit better, it's stronger. Obviously if you're diving around Brighton Pier, I'm forever kicking bits of metal. This is why these are quite scuffed up, but I bought 2 pairs, so that's not to worry. Boots or booties, depending on what country you're in. Both Picasso make. One's a bit camo, one ain't. One's 3mm, one's 5mm. Winter, summer. Don't really last too long. That's got holes in just through walking across the stones. Fairly easy, fairly simple. Get your size, get the thickness you want. That's that. Gloves. This is the wetsuit one. Again, Picasso make, 3mm. I struggle to wear these just because of the thickness, trying to load my gun, get my knife out, it's all a bit too fiddly. So I generally use one of these. They're just typical builder's gloves really. These are from the diving shop, so they were 20 quid, but if I'd known that they're builder's gloves, I would have just bought some 3 quid ones. I generally only have it on the left, because I like my hand free for shooting. This grabs the fish, stab the fish in the head, you get the idea. Getting crabs out, always with my left, it's got the glove on. Again, that's how I do it. That's the gloves. Right, wetsuits. Spearfishing wetsuits are different to surfing wetsuits. They work differently, they're built differently. So you can use a surfing one, but you will get cold. I feel the cold, so I don't. This one is a Salvamar brand. I bought this one second hand actually for 100 quid off some fella down in Cornwall. Nice one, buddy. This is a 5mm top, 5mm pants. Great for the summer. Like I said, I feel the cold. People wear this in the winter, the 5mm. So that's my summer suit. This is my winter suit. This is a Mayor's brand. This is 7mm thick. These are 5mm thick. Camouflage. Open sail, again fairly simple, fairly easy. I'll tell you in a minute what shops I got all this gear from. When putting these on, lube yourself up. Yep, I did say that, lube yourself up. Get someone else to do it for you if that's what you're into. I use conditioner with water, but you can buy some special lube. You'll generally find the people who are sponsored by them will promote it. People just use conditioner. That's your wetsuit. Masks. This is a Cressy mask. Fits my face quite nicely. Has the GoPro camera on the top. I like it, it fits good and it's comfortable. I do have a second one, a spare one, just in case I forgot this one, but I don't know where it is at the minute. Snorkel. I was recommended to get a flexible one because it will bend. So if I shove my head in a if I shove my head in a wreck or into rocks to try and get a fish out and this gets stuck and I need to pull my head out, it will bend and my head will come out. If you've got a stiff plastic one and it gets lodged in, you've got to try and pull all that gear off, as well as get out of the rock and swim upwards without being able to see much. That's your bask, that's your snorkel. Again, this was 30 quid, this was 20 quid, not expensive. There are more expensive ones out there, but it does the job. So this is my weight belt. Obviously your wetsuits are rubber, so they're buoyant, so you need to equal that out. This is a Rob Allen with, I think I have 6 kilos of lead on and a clip to clip my torch on. This belt is elastic. You want it to sit tight around your waist. I actually do mine tight around my hips. A little tip that David Mello told me. So you see how you can pull it nice and tight. That's the flexibility. That ain't going anywhere. That's the beauty of having an elastic one. Again, belt was probably 25 quid. Lead weight's a second hand. But unless you lose it or have to drop it off in a certain scenario, which I have had to do, but I went down and picked it up, it's set for life. Right, next up is my knife. Kept sharp, kept clean, gets clipped onto my leg where I've always had it. I'm comfortable with it and I can get to it quickly if I need it. If you was ever to cut rope that you were tangled off, most people think that side, but that side will cut the rope quicker if you're ever in trouble. Top tip from the Frenchman. You want to get a lobster or a crab out of a hole, not have to stick your hand in? Get one of these. I don't know what it's called. It was 6 quid. I saw it on the website. That's that. Lobster puller. Let's call it that. This is... fuck. I want to say flasher, but it's not. But it's to put your fish on, clip it onto your belt or your float. Most people do it on the float. And you just spike the fish through, clip it back, and your dead fish sit on this. I can't remember what it's called, but I will get back to you on that one. Stringer. It's a stringer. That's your fish stringer. You string your fish. Right, now let's talk guns. These are my two. I have a 65 and a 75. That's the size of the guns. See the size difference? 65, 75. Stops there, stops there. I quite like the 65. You can move it quicker, it's easier, and it's lighter. This is a Cressy Yuma 65, bought second hand. Just a lovely gun. Open muzzle, which means the spear, let me show you. It can come up like that. You use the line to hold the spear down when you load it. Like that. Easy to load. I recommend that. This one is a closed. It has that piece there which will hold the spear in place. So I still use the line. Back to this one. Has no reel. This one has a reel. Simpler. Has a little bungee at the front so when it shoots, it bungees. Makes it easier to load. I use this mostly for place or bream under the pier, just because the pier is all confined, you need to move your gun. So this is my first ever gun. This is an Epsilon Striker 75. It's a great gun, but it doesn't load properly. Many times I've had it on my chest, pulled the band over, soon as it's got a bit of tension on the spear, because it's not loaded properly, pew, she shoots off. Generally why I spearfish alone. Again, spear has to go through under that. Makes it a bit awkward to load, but I can take it off. I probably should take it off. Has a reel. You don't have to have a reel under Brighton Pier. I prefer to have a reel. Just if I shoot a fish, the spear gets stuck, I can loosen the reel, keep the gun in my hand, I can swim up and breathe up. And then when I'm ready, I can swim down and sort the fish out. This version I recommend for newbies. Clip that to your line, which then goes to your float. So if you ever get into trouble, let go of your gun, get yourself up safe. Your gun is on the line, connected to your float. Breathe up, sort yourself out, swim down, get your gun. That's pretty much the guns. Sussex, Surrey, 75 is big enough. We don't get the visibility for anything bigger. Probably use my 65 more than my 75, but that's just because this season's been terrible. Going down to, from I reckon, Swanage, Devon, Cornwall, quite a few people use an 85 or even a 90 just because they get better visibility. There's thousands of different guns. I was just recommended by a bloke who was sponsored by them. Would I recommend it to anyone else? If it didn't self-shoot, I would recommend this 100%, but the fact that it self-shoots, I'm not even going to recommend that. Cressy gun, great. Lasts, it's been battered, bruised, shot, salt, sand, and she's still sweet. Right, let's talk about the floats. The things that keep you safe from boats driving over you. I was lucky enough to pick this up at a Decathlon just before they finished selling them. It was 60 quid. I call it my refugee boat because it's a mini little boat. Like a little dinghy. Little pockets, little attachments, clip stuff too. And I can lay on it and swim with it. As you can see, it's quite big. Goes on your back. Clip your guns on the side, clip your fins in, so when you're strutting it through Brighton, suited and booted in a rubber suit with the men whistling at you, you're looking cool. Got it on your back. The other one is the torpedo. I've never actually used this. I don't particularly like it because obviously I carry my cameras with me, so I need to keep them safe. Again though, that stringer that I was on about earlier, that you keep your fish on, attaches to your float, catch a fish, clip it on, leave it on there, go catch another fish. So how you set these up is, my float line is connected to a little weight, it's a kayaking weight. You connect that onto your float, like so, and you dive around your float and it just lets boats know that you're below. You can connect a flag to it, but I've lost mine. That's that. So the setup is, so for Brighton Pier, the last thing I'd recommend is having a big long bit of rope connected to you while you swim through metal pylons, because once that gets tangled up and that's connected to you, you won't come back up probably. That's mine. So I'll swim to my destination I want to dive, slowly drop that down, start diving around it using this gun because it's got the reel. If I get into trouble, I can loosen it off, let the line out, swim up, sort myself out, still got the gun in my hand. This gun There's the clip for the weight. So instead of the weight, I will tie the rope to my gun. So if I'm in difficulties, I can let go of my gun. And I know that it's at the end of the rope, it's connected to my float. To be honest, I don't ever use this float. So if you're after a float, guys, and you want to pay the postage, you can have that. It's a Picasso one. Don't use it. All that kit sits in a big bag. It's a Cressy bag. I got it off Amazon. I think that was about 80 quid. So it's all together. I clean it, I dry it, I put it all back in the bag. I do have a dive torch, but I can't find it. Plus the battery's died on it. But the best piece of kit I have brought, which was from Lidl's, and it saves my energy, is the RDS 200. Ain't no swimming far for me, boys, girls. Little GoPro mount for a cheeky ride. Rechargeable, battery powered, does 5 knots. I don't swim to the end of Brighton Pier. That's why I can dive longer, because I've saved my energy. That was 250 quid actually, but don't tell Emma. I told her it was 60 quid. Right, so that's the gear that I use. That's everything. Courses, people I've dived with, people who you want to get to know. I learn a lot. You won't get this quite often, a YouTube person recommending another YouTube person, okay? I'm going to share some YouTube love. Daniel Mann, watch his channel. He will teach you loads. Joe PK, Mr. PK. I think his name's Joe. Is it Joe? If I could describe Mr. PK, it would be listening to the sweetest voice that has the knowledge of David Attenborough. He is one calming mother. Beep. My mother-in-law loves him. She gets going when I put him on TV. It's shocking, but he is great as well. They're probably the two that I could recommend, only because I've watched them. There's probably 1,000 others, but they're the two that I learned most of. So the courses I've done are with the one and only for freediving, David Mellor. He does online courses for equalization, obviously the Fritz method, Frenzel method, not the Fritz, fucking hell, the Frenzel method. He does ADA 1, 2 and 3 down in Vobster Quarry in Somerset. He is the nicest guy and the best teacher. Within half an hour he had me diving from 7 meters struggling to 14 easy, just by a few tweaks. And I mean, this man's, I think he's 60 this year, looks like he's 28, and I think his personal best dive is 100 meters deep. So yeah, cracking guy. Just flick him a message, tell him Ethan's recommended you. He'll know who I am. Second course, the Frenchman. I done a beginner spearfishing course with him. So he took me out in the boat. Because I'd already previously done a course with David Mellor, it made it easier for the Frenchman, Maxime, to get us into spearfishing more, because obviously I could dive, duck dive, I could equalise, and I was diving 15 metres comfortably, so he had some good spots that we could dive. He would take us through a few exercises, which one a week later I had to do. My weight belt. So he'd ask me a question. Have you ever taken your weight belt off underwater and then retrieved it? Obviously no. Who does that? So we done that. Harder than it looks. Make sure you have the tassel flapping out. Some people can tuck it in. I have mine flapping out, so if you ever get into trouble, pull it that way. That'll automatically unlock. Let it drop. The buoyancy of your wetsuit, you will shoot up floating quicker. I was diving under Brighton Pier, my belt was on. I led on the bottom waiting and decided to crawl forward, and as I crawled forward, a piece of metal had actually hooked under my belt, and at the end of my breath hold, when I wanted to go up to breathe, I couldn't. I was stuck because the metal was stuck under my belt. Luckily, the previous week, the Frenchman had asked me, shown me, I was able to do it. Practice it, because that probably did save my life. Schoolboy error, newbie. He also taught me just how to hunt properly. Like, I was slapdash, man. I was swimming down, kicking and screaming, wondering why all the fish have just swum off. So you just literally swim down, lay there, be still, get yourself in the kelp and wait. And fish were everywhere. It was amazing. Well worth the money, well worth the time. My spearfishing went from that to that from just doing those 2 courses. Where I got my gear from, there's a few shops that I've got my gear from. There's loads of shops, but where I've got my stuff from is the Spearfishing shop, which is Cornwall, the Spearfishing store, which is Devon in Plymouth, actually not far from my mother-in-law's, and there's Fins for You, which I think is Reading. Those 3 shops I've brought from. Those 3 shops have been phenomenal. I've never had an issue with any of their gear, but like I said, there's more shops out there, but they are the 3 shops that I've shot from and never had an issue. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I hope it's just a bit of an intro for newbies, my version of it. And yeah, check out the websites. Message, if you ever want to go for a dive, message. I've got a few dives lined up from people who watch my channel. A couple of new people, just want to get out. This is what this channel's about, guys. If you want to come out fishing with me, message me. You want to come out spearfishing, message me. Peace out, people. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe. You know it. Peace out.